October 18, 1925, Europe is still recovering from the Great War, borders are being redrawn, and tensions are high. But this story isn't about large wars or grand politics. No, this story begins with a soldier chasing his dog across an international border, and ends with Greece and Bulgaria almost going to war. This is the bizarre history of the War of the Stray Dog.
On that fateful day, Greek soldier Pavlos was on a patrol near the Greek-Bulgarian border when his dog, being the mischievous creature it was, bolted across the border to Bulgaria. Pavlos, following his old companion, crossed into Bulgarian territory to retrieve it.
As Pavlos entered Bulgarian land, Bulgarian soldiers thinking an enemy infiltrator opened fire. The soldier was shot and killed. The dog, completely unaware, probably continuing to enjoy its run through the unfamiliar terrain.
Greece was furious. They demanded an apology and compensation for the loss of their soldier. Bulgaria, trying to avoid a major conflict, immediately issued an apology, suggested an impartial investigation, and offered to hold those responsible accountable. But Greece wasn't ready to let it go just yet.
Greece demanded more than just an apology. They wanted 2 million francs in compensation, a formal apology, and a full compensation for the Pavlos family. Bulgaria, however, was not eager to meet those terms. As the situation grew tense, the Greek response was swift.
And so what happened next was not exactly what you'd expect from a dispute over a dog. Instead of sitting at a table for talks, Greece took action. On October 22nd, just 4 days after the shooting, Greek troops invaded the Bulgarian town of Petrich in retaliation.
The Greek invasion of Petrich sent shockwaves throughout the region. It looked like what had started as a tragic accident over a dog might now erupt into a full-scale war. But this is where the League of Nations stepped in.
Instead of escalating into war, Bulgaria appealed to the League of Nations for help. The League was quick to intervene, calling for an immediate ceasefire and demanding that Greek troops withdraw into Petrich. They sent representatives from Britain, Italy, and France to ensure the ceasefire is upheld and to oversee the situation on the ground.
The League made it clear, this was a situation that needed diplomacy, not military force. Greece, under intense pressure, agreed to withdraw its troops, but not without some conditions. Ultimately, Greece was forced to pay £45,000 in compensation, and the League placed the blame squarely on the Greek side.
Imagine that, the League of Nations stepping in to stop a war over a dog. I guess you can say, this wasn't any stray.
After the ceasefire, the League of Nations sent its own commissioner of inquiry to investigate the incident. This was the League's moment to show it could effectively prevent a war and settle international disputes. Despite the strange circumstances, the League was successful in bringing both countries back from the brink of a large-scale conflict.
Though both nations eventually agreed to the League's terms, there were still lingering resentments. Greece had invaded Bulgarian retaliation. The blame for the incident was placed firmly on their shoulders. The League of Nations had managed to prevent a full-scale war. In the end, it was seen as a success for the fledgling international body.
And what about the dog? Well, no one really knows. Maybe it just kept on running, oblivious to the monumental political fallout its little sprint had caused. But one thing for sure, it unintentionally helped the League of Nations prove that it could work under pressure.
Next time you see a dog near a border, just remember, it might be the furriest diplomat in the room. A little wag of the tail, and suddenly everyone's trying to prevent a war.
So, from a soldier chasing his dog to an invasion, international diplomacy, and the League of Nations swooping in to save the day, this is a strange story of the War of the Stray Dog. A reminder that sometimes the smallest events can have the biggest consequences.